You woke up feeling a faint itch, your fingers brushing against what might be a fresh bite on your shoulder. You instinctively pulled back the sheets, carefully checked the wide, flat surface of the mattress, and saw absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. Satisfied that it was nothing, you laid your head back down and went right back to sleep. The invisible invader remains completely undetected while you rest comfortably in your ignorance. You check the wrong thing. Stop. Bed bugs detected at the very first sign, long before painful bites force your attention, require the targeted treatment of a single room. But bed bugs detected 3 months later, when an established colony begins feeding on you nightly, require a massive, devastating whole apartment or whole house treatment strategy. The financial cost of this delay is catastrophic. You're looking at spending between $1,200 and $3,500 for a professional, whole house heat treatment, compared to a mere $150 to $300 for a swift, early-stage intervention. Beyond the crushing financial burden, an entrenched infestation exacts a heavy psychological toll, destroying your ability to sleep peacefully in your own home. By ignoring the subtle, early warnings and waiting for the obvious physical bites to appear, you allow a highly manageable, localized problem to spread through your walls and furniture. You trade a simple afternoon of targeted cleaning and minor expense for weeks of preparation, massive exterminator bills, and the potential loss of your personal belongings. Never ignore the quiet, hidden signs. The enemy you are facing is Cymex lectularius, a highly specialized parasite designed to feed on human blood while you sleep. Depending on its life stage, it ranges in size from a nearly invisible 1 millimeter to about 7 millimeters long. It possesses a flat, oval-shaped body that is a dull, rust-brown color when unfed, but swells into a dark, engorged red immediately after consuming a blood meal. They have no wings whatsoever. They cannot fly, and they cannot jump. Their only method of movement is a slow, steady crawl across fabrics and floors. When searching for them, you must understand their 3 primary hiding zones, prioritized by proximity to their food source. First, they wedge themselves deep into mattress seams and the protective plastic corners of box springs. Second, they hide in the structural joints and tiny screw holes of wooden or metal bed frames. Finally, they occupy the narrow gaps behind baseboards, specifically those located within an 8-foot radius of the bed itself. These bugs are incredibly flat, allowing them to slip into cracks no thicker than a credit card, rendering them virtually invisible to a casual glance across a smooth mattress surface. You have to hunt for them where the fabric folds. The first sign of bed bugs is never the physical bite on your skin. It is the fecal spotting left behind on the fabric. Tiny, unmistakable dark smears, noticeably smaller than a single sesame seed, that appear directly on mattress seams and box spring piping during the very earliest stage of an infestation. Exuvii, the translucent shed skins left behind as the insects grow and molt, will appear second. The actual bites appear last. In fact, bites often do not present themselves until 2 to 6 weeks after the initial infestation begins. This delay occurs because your body's immune sensitization to the anesthetic proteins in the bug's saliva requires repeated exposure over time before an allergic reaction triggers a red, itchy welt. If you wait for the bots, you are already weeks behind the colony's growth curve. The physical seam check is incredibly simple and takes exactly 90 seconds of your time. You must run a bright flashlight along every single folded seam and structural pipe of your mattress and box spring, You have to actively pull back the fabric folds at the plastic corner guards to look underneath them. You're actively searching for those tiny dark smears and paper-thin shed skins, not the live bugs themselves, which are exceptional at evading direct light. By understanding this sequence of evidence, you can intercept the infestation in its infancy. The bugs leave a permanent, ink-like trail of their presence long before your immune system sounds the alarm. Catching this trail early is the single most important factor in saving your home and your bank account from total devastation. The biological mechanism behind this early warning sign is straightforward. After feeding, the bedbug returns directly to its harborage and defecates. This fecal material is entirely digested blood, which is why it dries into flat, dark smears that do not powder or flake away when rubbed, unlike common dirt. Exuviae are the translucent, molted skins left behind each time the nymph advances to the next instar stage. There are 5 distinct nymphal instars before the insect reaches adulthood, meaning each individual leaves shed skins at every single stage of its development. A mattress with visible exuviae has hosted at least one individual through multiple life stages, indicating the infestation is absolutely not new. Stephen Doggett of Westmead Hospital in Sydney published in 2012 a clinical review of bedbug infestations in the journal Insects that remains a standard reference on these early detection methods. To understand the human-scale comparison, finding these shed skins hidden in the seam is the equivalent of finding clothing left behind at every single visit. The insect physically cannot remove the evidence it leaves behind. The presence of bedbugs in your home reveals a simple truth. They are almost always actively introduced from the outside rather than developing spontaneously from poor hygiene. The most common introduction vectors are newly acquired, unchecked second-hand furniture, recent hotel stays where luggage was placed directly on a suspect bed, or unsuspecting guests carrying them on their coats. If you live in a multifamily building or apartment complex, an unchecked infestation in an adjacent unit will inevitably spread straight through the shared wall cavities into your bedroom. Their presence in your home means there has been a recent, direct introduction from an external source. It is absolutely not an indicator of your personal cleanliness or housekeeping skills. Bedbugs do not care if your room is spotless or cluttered. They only care that a warm human is sleeping there at night. This removes the stigma and frames the situation purely as an invasive breach of your home's perimeter. At the very first sign of those dark smears, you must immediately isolate the bed to cut off their food supply. Purchase high-quality mattress and box spring encasements specifically rated for bed bugs. They must be fully zippered with absolutely no mesh panels. Next, place specialized interceptor cups under every single leg of the bed frame. The bugs cannot climb out of the smooth plastic interior of these cups, permanently trapping them before they can reach you. Strip the bed and wash all your bedding in water that is a minimum of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Then dry everything on the highest heat setting for at least 90 minutes. You must call a licensed pest management professional for a thorough inspection before you even consider beginning any over-the-counter chemical treatments. A professional heat treatment, holding the room at over 120 degrees for 90 minutes, is the only guaranteed way to kill all life stages, including the eggs. Do not arbitrarily bag up your clothing or items without treating them first. If you do, you're not containing the infestation. You're simply placing it into long-term storage, waiting to reinfest your home the moment you open the bag. You must stop relying on your skin to tell you if your bedroom is secure. The truth is written in the hidden folds of the fabric, waiting for you to find it. Run a flashlight along the seam of your mattress right now and tell me in the comments, clean seam, or did you find something?